Yo, peace and riches blessings. Welcome back to the Burnell Washburn podcast, sending you all the love, all the good vibes. It's a new year, it's a new decade. I'm feeling blessed to be alive. It's a beautiful day. Recording this on the first of the year. And this is just a mobile mini episode. I'm not using my regular microphone or my laptop or my whole podcast setup. I'm literally walking around my house. Just made some lavender chamomile tea. Lit up this stress relief candle. And I'm just gearing up for my beautiful nightly routine because that's one of my new habits in 2020. I'm going hard for the first 90 days. I'm kind of taking the year in quarters. So for the first quarter, I'm going hard on my nightly routine. And just being really adamant, I'm gonna keep going 90 days until I get 90 days straight, because that's how I build habits. And I've for years had a really empowering, really amazing morning routine, but the nightly routine would slip off. I'd start, it was like really just watching videos and eating and chilling and kind of, it was like sometimes I would be really high vibe and sometimes just being like not in my highest self. So I started realizing I needed to get a really on point nightly routine, because how you do one thing is how you do all things. And if you can own the morning, you own the day. You win the morning, you win the day. And then if you win the night, you win your sleep and you own the next day. And you just you create compounding wins. So that said, I wanted to create a super quick mobile mini episode all about sleep, optimizing your sleep. I've talked about this before, but this is going to be kind of optimizing your bedroom, your environment for optimal sleep, and just a couple quick habits that you might want to add to your nightly routine and your morning routine to really make sleep a priority in 2020 and beyond, and start develop just better hygiene around that. And part of the reason I'm doing the mobile episode is because simplicity is also one of the keys, is one of my words for 2020. And I realized some of the most inspiring ideas that I have fall to the wayside because I think of something that I want to share, and then I'm like, okay, I'll record that when I have time, and then life gets in the way and I end up not making time for it for a few days, and I might forget some of the little key insights that I wanted to share and not be providing as much value as I could be providing because I'm too worried about the audio quality and making it perfect rather than just speaking from the heart. And I was listening to Charlie Rocket, the homie CEO Charlie from Quantopia, and I realized a lot of his content was just recorded on his iPhone, and it was ultra inspiring, really brightening up my days, really helping me access a higher frequency and kicking some real knowledge and real game to help me improve my life. So that's what I want to do. I want to help you have a healthy, happy, fulfilling 2020 and beyond. I want to send you all my love, all my wisdom, all my insight, all my tools and techniques and anything I can do to help improve your life. And I don't want to let perfectionism or technology get in the way of that. So you might be getting a bunch more of these mobile episodes. But that said, I wanted to share some thoughts around improving your sleep, around nightly routine, around morning routine. First one. This one was just kind of I was just reminded of this by Gaby Bernstein on the Luke Storey podcast, the Lifestylist podcast. Luke and Gaby are two just remarkable, extraordinary human beings that I love dearly and really appreciate their wisdom. But anyway, I heard Gaby say something that reminded me. She said that she had just overcame postpartum insomnia, and it reminded me that I had insomnia at one point too, and I almost forgot that even used to be an issue in my life. I used to have trouble sleeping, majorly. And there's always no matter what, there's some nights that are better than others, obviously, but for the most part, I'm sleeping way better than I used to sleep, and she just kind of reminded me, oh, I did change these habits, and they did work, so I should share this truth with my audience, like, again, even if I've already talked about this, because it's just very valuable, and every human that I know could benefit from these habits and just even trying to take steps in these directions. So the first thing that I changed that Gabby mentioned was no activities in the bed besides sleep and sex. Sleep and sex only in the bed, so no meditation, no journaling, no eating, no watching movies, no scrolling social media. Like, the bed is a sacred environment for sleep and sex only. And it's very important to also, the reason that's so important first and foremost is because your subconscious, your body, everything just starts to associate different activities in different environments. So, like, if, for example, if I have a specific place where I do paintings and I have my easel and my paints there, it's like I go there and my brain just starts to get into paint mode. Versus, like, if you, with your bed, if you're doing all sorts of different activities on there, you're going to start associating it with things besides sleep, and then it's going to mess you up as you're trying to go to sleep. So, for example, I used to always work designing websites, making beats, sending emails, graphic design, whatever, on my laptop, sitting on my bed. That was like one of the main places I used to work. And then every night as I was trying to go to bed, I couldn't stop thinking about work, creative ideas, and all these things that I had to do, and just problem-solving business things. And I thought my mind was just so busy. This was also before I started meditating and really learned how to observe my thoughts and quiet down my mind a little bit. But the main thing is I was just always working in the bed. So when I laid down, my body just went into work mode. Even though I was exhausted and I needed to sleep, my mind was just like, oh, what about sending this email? What about da-da-da-da? What about, oh, you should order those? And like, just crazy nonsense going on in my mind. And I stopped doing that because I heard a lot of successful, healthy people talk about the bed as a sacred place, and don't work or do anything besides sleep and sex in your bed. And so I started following their advice, and it worked for me. I started sleeping way better. So I'm constantly trying to improve my sleep hygiene, and I removed technology from my room. There's no TV in my. I don't even have a TV in my house, but when I do get one, it's going to be in my living room. So if I want to watch a movie, awesome. Go out to the couch in the living room. You start getting tired, cool. Turn off the movie and come back to your nicely made bed and sleep in your, rather than falling asleep with a screen blaring at you, because there's a lot of science coming out about how artificial light is really hurting our health. It's hurting our circadian rhythms and messing up our sleep. It's really suppressing our melatonin production, so we're not getting enough melatonin, and you don't want to be taking melatonin either, because the more you take it, the less you produce naturally. So you want to keep your natural melatonin production as high as possible in order to just keep yourself able to relax and sleep. And all this artificial light's just crushing it. We've not evolved to have this artificial light. It's only been around for like 100 years, 200 years, electricity, less than that maybe, and then like the LEDs, like 30 years or something. It's like this stuff has not been around that long. So our bodies are just not designed for that, and our bodies don't. They think, oh, it's middle of the daytime, and light is supposed to be a thing that wakes us up or keeps us asleep. Our bodies are designed to kind of be flowing with the natural flow of the sun and the moon and all that. So that said, I'm getting blackout curtains. So there's because I've heard so many people talk about this, and I used to have blackout curtains at one spot, and it was really, really, really helpful. But I have all these cars driving by, and then their headlights kind of like, and just neighbors' little outside lights kind of flood into my room just even a tiny, tiny bit, and it's messing me up. And then there's these little black stickers that you can get for things like smoke detectors. Like my smoke detector has this little tiny green dot on it, and like you don't notice it until it's like really dark. at night and you're sleeping and there's this little dot and your body's tripping out about it and it's messing up your melatonin and hurting your circadian rhythm and all that. So you can get these little black stickers on Amazon that block out the lights. I'm about to order some of those. And I'm just blacking out my house for sleep because I'm worth it. I deserve to have the best quality of sleep possible. My daughter deserves to have a father that's well rested and healed and refreshed and recharged. And, all my clients deserve to have a version of me that's well rested and getting optimal sleep. So I'm investing in improving my sleep, improving my nightly routine. Another thing that I have been doing is just using a little essential oils, diffusing sometimes, spraying some, and just keeping the energy right in my room, keeping it vacuumed, keeping it clean, keeping it tidy. And I know you've heard successful people talk about this for years. You need to make your bed first thing in the morning. I'm not going to say you need to. You can benefit greatly from making your bed every morning. The first thing I do when I wake up is I jump out of bed, immediately do my jumping jacks and incantations, and I start saying the positive incantations / affirmations as I'm making my bed. Immediately I start making my bed within the first 30 seconds. Just thank you so much. It's an amazing day to be alive. I'm so blessed. This is going to be the best day ever. I feel amazing. I feel refreshed. I'm stoked. Let's go. And I make my bed really nice, and I'm respecting my environment. I'm kind of shaking off the night's energy, and I'm immediately taking a higher self action. And how you do one thing is how you do all things. So it sets the tone for the day that I'm a boss, I'm worthy, rather than setting the tone that I'm lazy and in a rush. I'm going to take the time to make my bed properly, and it doesn't take that long, especially when you get in the habit of doing it every day. It's you get pretty quick at it. I'm faster at making my bed than I ever have been because I've been consistently upholding this habit for a long time now. And it just sets the tone for the day. So you win the morning, you win the day. It just sets you into a chain reaction of another good habit, and then another good habit, and then another high vibe thing. And you kind of feel good like a boss. And it also, one random thing that helps with making your bed helps with is it kind of appeases your ego. Your ego always wants to feel like it's in control. It always thinks that it wants to have this illusion of control. And we're really not in control, but it's nice to appease your ego sometimes and give it little feelings of it being in control, so it can kind of shut up and chill out and think it's running the show. So it gives your ego the sense of oh cool, I'm controlling my environment. And it's even if you go out in the world and all this crazy stuff happens and all this stuff outside of your control, at least your environment is this one little thing that you can control, and it's this one little thing that you can have peace of mind over, that your bed's made. And that at the end of the day, if all hell breaks loose throughout the day and everything goes to shit, you have this one zen little spot that you get to come back to and recharge and heal up. And, because I've traveled a lot, and there's been a lot of times where you don't know where you're going to sleep. Or I've also slept in cars and airports, and you probably have dealt with things like that too. And it's just it's kind of traumatic to your whole nervous system if you don't know where you're going to sleep, or if you're going to have a proper place to sleep and whatever. And so just knowing that, it's kind of helps take you out of fight or flight as much, just knowing that you have this nice place to sleep coming back, and it helps you get out there and face the world a little more. Take another sip of my tea. Yes. But anyway, I'm stepping up my nightly routine. It involves making tea, tidying up my house, picking out my clothes for tomorrow, setting intentions for the next day, checking calendar, checking the bank, there's certain things that I'm trying to do, and I'm still dialing in my nightly routine, but there's certain things that I'm working towards to just set myself up for optimal sleep. One of those things is no screens an hour before I go to sleep. So I'm trying to go to bed at 10 p.m. No screens after 9 p.m. Once it's 9 p.m., I'm oh, time to turn this off. At that point, I need to meditate or read or journal. And I might still have like a light on, but it might be like a salt lamp, or preferably it's just candlelight. That's optimal, ideal. It's just candlelight. Meditating, journaling, whatever. I can listen to a podcast, but I can't be looking at a screen. So that might be a good time to get a podcast in and maybe just listen to a podcast while I'm doing some stretching and cleaning my house. And then at that point, the device needs to be turned off after I'm done with that. Put in the other room. I don't sleep with the phone in my room because it's so tempting to just like wake up and immediately look at it. And I don't want the extra EMFs. Like I don't have any electronics in my room whatsoever during sleep. So another thing I do is I bless my room with crystals and plants, and I'm trying to make the environment feel nice. You know what I mean? Just there's little things you can do to make your setup feel a little luxurious and feel like a little bit more optimal for you to thrive in and you to just sleep well in. And you deserve it. Sleep is 1/3 of our life if we're doing it right. If you're getting 8 hours, that's 1/3 of your life, and it also it dramatically impacts the other 2/3. So investing in improving our sleep is important. There's other things that I would like to do that are a little bit more deeper of investments, such as like a chili pad, which keeps your bed cool. I sleep with a fan because I like the white noise and it keeps my room cool, and I crack the window because I like the fresh air. But optimal sleep temperature for human beings is about 65 degrees. So if you have a thermostat or whatever in your house and you can turn that down to 65 before you go to bed, or you have one of those automatic ones that's on a timer, have it set to go down to 65 like right after you fall asleep, and then you can have it rise back up in the morning, around the time you wake up. You don't want it to be too hot, so I want to get a chili pad, which will help just keep my bed cool. It like circulates cool water under your bed, I think. And I'm gonna get an air purifier for my room. I'm gonna research those a lot more. I've heard rumors that they don't really do that much, but I think there's some nice ones you can get that just keep the air on point. But I'm trying to fill the room with plants to do that job anyway. Another habit I'm trying to have is no more food an hour before bed, like preferably an hour and a half or 2 hours, but a minimum of an hour before bed. I don't want to be consuming any calories because that's just going to be extra digestion work that I have to do. That's going to interfere with my sleep, and it's less energy that my body can spend repairing my cells and my tissues, and all the different parts of my body are not getting healed as much if my body has to allocate that healing resource towards digestion rather than healing. So stop eating an hour before bed. No lights and electronics in the room. Got the fan going. I'm doing maybe some light reading or journaling before bed, or some meditating and stretching rather than watching a movie or scrolling through Instagram. What else am I doing for my nightly routine? Sometimes I might be taking a bath with some essential oils and some bath salts. That's a really nice way to wind down. Stepping out, doing a little barefoot grounding right before bed is really nice. Sleeping outdoors and camping as often as possible. That's really where it's at. And then in the morning, like I said, I wake up, jump in and do a couple jumping jacks, say some incantations, make the bed, start off the day in a positive, super high vibe way. And then the first thing after that is I go outside and I go barefoot ground and I look at sunlight, get indirect natural lighting, and that resets your circadian rhythm. And I haven't used an alarm clock in years, and I wake up around the same time every day. Sometimes it might be fluctuating by an hour or so, depending on what my body needs or what I ate or how hard I worked out or whatever. But for the most part, I wake up around the same time because I've kind of trained my circadian rhythms to, I sleep good at night and I wake up feeling refreshed. And a big part of that is because I'm getting that natural sunlight within 10 minutes. So when you wake up in the morning, go outside. It doesn't have to be for a long time. Even if you can just open up a window, that's better than nothing. But get yourself in some sunlight, preferably with your shoes off, with your bare feet in the earth. That's the highest vibe way to start your morning, is just sunlight and bare feet and a nice fresh glass of blessed water. And then you can go on with your whole morning routine and all that stuff. So that's like your pre-routine. And it only takes like 5-10 minutes, to jump up, make your bed, affirm some positive things, smile, hold your body, your biochemistry in a positive state. Do the Superman pose to, shake your body out, jump up and down, smile big, get stoked. Just moving your body that way sends a lot of happy chemicals throughout your system and helps start your day on a positive note. And then you hop on outside and get that vitamin D from the sunshine, and you get the balancing, grounding effects from having your bare feet in the earth. And do a little stretching, a little qigong, a little quick meditation if you want, like I do. Like, there's no right or wrong way, but these are all things that are scientifically proven to dramatically benefit your quality of sleep and thus your overall quality of life. I believe that everything's interconnected, right? So our quality of life is only as good as our quality of our sleep. Our quality of our life is only as good as the quality of what we eat. Our quality of life is only as good as the quality of our relationships. It's all interconnected, and some of that sounds kind of obvious, but when you think about it, we tend to compartmentalize all this stuff. I can just work hard and I don't really need that much sleep. And a lot of entrepreneurs try to brag about how little sleep they get and brag about waking up at 5 a.m. or the 5 a.m. club. Successful people wake up at 5 a.m. It's no, there's a lot of studies showing that successful people wake up at all different times. There's tons of multimillionaires and billionaires that are waking up at 8, 9 o'clock. I don't think there's a lot of them that are sleeping in until 2 in the afternoon. But I think most, successful people are getting up at a somewhat decent hour. But, they don't have to be, you don't have to be getting up at 5 o'clock. And if you are getting up at 5 o'clock, you better be going to bed you better be passed the fuck out by 9 p.m. And that makes it hard to have a social life and dinner and all that stuff, especially in the summer. The sun's not even down. You're going to bed before the sun. So I think you should go to bed earlier in the winter and, later in the summer, just to follow the natural ebb and flow of nature. And there is science on that too. So another thing is just I drink a blessed glass of water before bed, and I set intentions before bed. That's huge for me, setting an intention before bed of okay, tonight I'm going to heal this part of my body if my legs hurt or whatever. I'm going to heal this part of or tonight I'm just going to sleep really amazing. I'm going to have the best night of sleep ever tonight, and I'm going to wake up feeling so refreshed tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm just going to wake up feeling I got the best sleep ever and I had the best dreams ever. So I set intentions before I go to bed. I kind of check my calendar a little bit and make sure I have some intentions or some plans for the next day and some ideas. So then, I don't know, that just helps ease my mind, feeling okay, I got everything under control. I checked the calendar, checked the bank. I can relax. My house is tidied up. I picked out my clothes for tomorrow. I might have, a lot of times I set my environment up for the morning routine. So the pot that I use to make tea is already on the stove with water in it. So all I have to do is walk over and flip the switch, random little things like that I'll do to set the environment up for the morning, to make the morning as effortless as possible, so I can jump out of bed and everything's kind of set up for me, ready to go in a super smooth way, and I can just jump into my day with super smooth sailing, on feeling I'm just in a flow state, just crushing it. So that's my tips as far as improving your sleep quality. Another Other things that can help is like different sound healings, binaural beats, isochronic tones. There's a lot of good audios that you can listen to help you fall asleep fast or to help wind you down. And if you are going to do that, then I recommend having like some Bluetooth headphones with one of those black stickers on the light, because a lot of the Bluetooth headphones have like a light on them, and that's no good if you're trying to fall asleep. And have your device playing the sound healing from YouTube or from wherever. YouTube would probably only work if you have YouTube Premium, so you don't have commercials interrupting your sound healing, but I'm sure there's a bunch of sound healings on there that are not monetized as well, so that you'd be able to play them without interruption. But you would have your Bluetooth headphones on and your device in another room, preferably, or at least with the screen turned off and out of reach and out of sight, playing your sound healing so you can like get the benefits of that without like a screen interrupting, because I feel like that's, I don't know, it kind of defeats the purpose. Like these sound healing, the isochronic tones and the binaural beats work like really good, really well. However, it's like one step forward and two steps backwards if you're also having a screen that you're looking at in order to play those. So that's what helps me. CBD is nice. You can get some different types of lotions and essential oils that it can be nice to include in your nightly routine. And I definitely recommend not being on social media for the last couple hours of the day, giving yourself a little more space, a little more peace, and kind of just setting your vibe up for the next day. You're kind of wrapping everything up for the day, setting your vibe up for the next day so you can wake up and have a really awesome day and just sleep as deeply and wake up as refreshed as possible. Because it's not about how many hours you sleep. It's more about the quality of your sleep. So if you can improve your sleep, even if you really are busy and you only feel like you have 6 hours to sleep, like at least you can improve those 6 hours and go deeper and get a higher quality. And obviously we all need different amounts of sleep for different times. I feel like my body personally has been needing a lot more sleep in like 2018, 2019 than it used to, because I was healing. I was doing lots of inner work, lots of shadow work, lots of trauma healing, lots of physical activity as far as exercise, as far as hiking a lot, as far as playing with my daughter, just being a parent and how exhausting parenting can feel sometimes. So my body just needs extra sleep, and I've honestly been sleeping like 9.5 hours a night for the past like year. And that's just what my body needs. But I wake up feeling amazing, and I'm just ready to go when I wake up. And I feel like these days I'm just laying down and falling right to sleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. It just feels amazing. I used to like toss and turn for hours, and there's still some nights like where I mess up and don't do a lot of this stuff perfect, but I'm committed to ramping up like the habitual practice, the conscious awareness of this practice for 2020 and beyond. So for these first 90 days of 2020, I'm just going like, I have little reminders around my house written down. In my bathroom I have like a little whiteboard, and I have a couple of the nightly routine practices written down on there just to remind me as like a visual trigger. And so as I realize that it's coming around that time, it's around 8 o'clock, it's like a trigger, okay, I gotta stop eating. It's around 9 o'clock, okay, I gotta turn off the screens now, no more screens, okay, and after 8 o'clock and I stop eating, okay, that's a trigger for me to clean up my house, tidy up, pick out my clothes for tomorrow, maybe get into my jammies, get comfy, make my tea, start getting ready for the wind down situation so I can have a relaxing wind down. And then I have a little time to watch a movie, because I love watching movies. I'm a movie fanatic, and so I'm allowing myself a little time because I'm working with myself. I'm not trying to be unrealistic here. I notice okay, I might not go. I hear all these entrepreneurs, all these successful people, all these healthy people, all these biohackers talk about no screens at nighttime and no screens. Ideally, I want to get to the point where I have no artificial light after the sun goes down, period. Like I switched to just all candlelight at that point and no screens. That might take a while though. That might not, I can't expect myself to build that habit overnight. You have to kind of meet yourself a little bit where you're at and be somewhat realistic with yourself. I'm not like, trying to, what's it called? Like, rationalize. I'm being real with where I'm at. Like I love movies, and for basically my whole life that was my thing. Is I would watch a movie right before bed when it was time to get ready for bed, and I was just ready to let go for the day and completely unwind, lay down and put on a movie. And then usually I'd spend more time picking the damn movie. By the time when Netflix came out, I'd spend more time trying to find the movie I want to watch than I do watching the movie. It's like once I finally pick it, I'm so exhausted, and your eyes actually take like more energy than any part of your body. So if you want to conserve energy, close your eyes. But your eyes just use lots and lots and lots of energy. And so I'd spend all this time trying to pick something to watch on Netflix and exhaust myself from searching and then pass out 5 minutes into the movie. So, but I realized, okay, if I love watching movies at night so much, and I feel like it's hard for me sometimes to just fully let myself relax and unwind and watch a movie in the middle of the day because I feel like I should be working or doing other stuff, or, maybe I'm social or whatever, and that's something I'm going to work on. But it's easier for me to give myself permission to just completely let go and put on a movie like when it's time for bed. And since I'm realizing that's my habit for years, I'm giving myself the space to be like, dude, okay, you can still watch the movie, but here's how you're going to do it now. Here's how your higher self's going to do it. Instead of watching the movie in your room, you're going to get a nice TV that you enjoy watching movies on. You're going to preferably pick out the movie way earlier in the day. And if you can't I heard a cool habit that says, like, if you can't name the movie that you want to watch or name at least, like, 3 options, then you shouldn't open Netflix or whatever. Like, if you can't already name it, then you shouldn't open any of those apps and just start scrolling, because those apps are pretty much designed for you to just, like, scroll. And, anyway, so I'm going to get a nice TV. I'm going to have picked out a movie earlier in the day. Like, it'll probably just be inspired, like, oh, I feel like watching Star Wars tonight, okay? And then, like, I'll have Star Wars ready to go, and I'll go out, and when it's time to do my nightly routine, I'll incorporate a movie in my nightly routine, or at least part of a movie. But that won't be the last thing. It'll be, like, partway through the nightly routine. It's like, so, I kind of already explained it, but I'll, stop eating, clean my house, pick out my clothes, make my tea, tidy up, get my essential oils and all that, and put on my jammies, and then watch my movie for a little bit, and then at 9 o'clock, or at around depending on what time I'm going to bed, I'll try to do this at least an hour before bed. Turn off the movie, realize, okay, you're starting to get tired now. Turn off the movie and then switch to okay, maybe I'm listening to a podcast and stretching. Maybe I'm just journaling for a minute. Maybe I'm reading for a little bit, but I'm letting my eyes rest. No more screen time. A little barefoot grounding outside. Doing that last little wind down. And then I crawl into bed and just slip into a beautiful slumber where I have amazing dreams and wake up the next day feeling ultra refreshed. So that's the vibes that I'm on. I wanted to share that with you because I felt like every human being could benefit from improving our sleep quality. And, like I said, you deserve it. People you love deserve it. And it's worth it to start investing. If all these routines and things that I had, that I've talked about on this podcast so far, sound a little bit much for you, a little bit daunting, that's okay. You don't need to do it all You need to start small. You need to take one of these things and just try it for the next 3 days. Okay, for the next 3 days, I'm going to go barefoot outside or whatever. You take one small step and you just start improving and keep working your way up. And it's not about perfection, it's about progress. So anything you do to improve your sleep, even if it's just a tiny micro win, celebrate that micro win. If you did a tiny thing to improve your sleep, oh my God, you're stepping up your game. And if you did a tiny thing to improve your sleep, like every night or every week for the next 20 years, imagine how much better your sleep's going to get and how much better your entire life's going to get when you're not dealing with fatigue and burnout and stress and overwhelm and disease and all the stuff anxiety, and all the stuff that comes from not sleeping well. Like a lot of the stuff that we deal with that we don't like is because we're not sleeping right and we're not eating right. And so if we can fix those things, we can dramatically improve our quality of life. So I'm on a motherfucking mission to help as many people as possible improve their quality of life through better eating, through better sleep, through better emotional habits and different spiritual practices. And I don't have all the answers. I'm not a master. I'm just a homie, a brother on the journey with you, doing my best to improve my life, and I love sharing anything that helps me. So if you got any benefit from this episode, if you felt that you got some value from it, it would mean the world to me that you share it with at least one person, or screenshot it and send it to me, or just send me a message telling me you listened to it. Take one of those actions to help me spread this message. That's what I really care about. And if you want to join on patreon.com/Burnell Washburn, I have some cool incentives if you want to further support my mission here on this beautiful planet of just helping awaken people and helping people raise their vibration and level up the quality of life, and so we can all just have an even doper planet. It's already amazing and perfect how it is, but it's natural to keep expanding it and growing it. So that's what I'm here to do. And if you want to help me do that, you can throw $5, $10, $20 a month on my Patreon, and if I can't even tell you how much it does for me. It helps me pay for all this stuff to get out, the internet, the podcast hosting, the equipment, all the things that I need to do to get this message out there. It helps me do that. But even more so, it makes me feel like I have this tribe behind me that it holds me accountable. I got to show up for this tribe because these cats are supporting me on Patreon, and I can't let them down. I got to help them make their lives better, and I got to keep rising myself up and keep triumphing over my hardships to share value with them. And not that I have to be perfect or anything like that, but it's everything that I go through is another lesson and another thing that I can share to help you guys. And I feel when there's people supporting me on Patreon, it just holds me that much more accountable and inspires me that much more to really be the best version of myself and provide as much as I can. So I feel good. I feel like my soul's lighting up even as I record this episode, because this is what I'm here to do. And I'm just walking around with an iPhone. It's nothing fancy right now. It's just supposed to be a mini episode turning into a normal length episode, kind of, because I talk a lot. But here we are. I'm doing what I love, what lights me up. I'm living out my purpose. I'm doing what I feel called to do, and it feels right, and it feels like it lights me up, and I'm going to sleep better tonight doing just that. Knowing that I took action on my purpose, on what I feel like I'm here to do, on what it feels like it's calling to my soul. I'm going to sleep better just for having at least taken a step in this direction and attempted this. And I won't even have posted it yet by the time I go to sleep, but I'll still get that fulfilling feeling that comes from living out your purpose. So I appreciate you tuning in, helping me spread the message, helping me live my purpose. And that's my last little hack for you, or last little tip for you to improve your sleep, is do what's calling your soul every day. A lot of us can't sleep, because we have big dreams calling us, and they're I feel like these dreams will haunt us if we don't go live them. So do at least one tiny thing, even if it's like just learning about it. Okay, today I've been really feeling called to do online courses. Okay, today I didn't create an online course, but I spent 1 hour taking notes as I was watching YouTube videos about online courses. And I took some really good notes, and I have a couple action steps that I can now take. And boom, that's a step towards living your purpose, or towards like what's calling you at the moment. And you're just going to sleep better and feel better from having taken any action. Even if the action isn't successful, you at least went on the journey, and you're one step closer to finding what will be successful. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Like, so many of you have been telling me this podcast is helping improve your life, and that just means the world to me. So send me a message, let me know that you listen to this, and I'm going to keep being me, spreading my love, doing the best I can, and I'll come at you with probably a lot more of these mobile episodes and some legit nice episodes coming from the new podcast studio that we are manifesting. So yeah, there's just a lot of amazing things coming. Season 2 is about to start here in February, and when season 2 starts, I'm going to have guests on the show, like a bunch of guests on the show, and I've got some incredible people lined up for that. So this podcast is really just, this whole season 1 so far has just been the foundation, and now we're about to really build this thing up, build this empire, this legacy, this blessing. I love you so much. Go create an amazing rest of your day. Have incredible sleep tonight. Wake up refreshed tomorrow, and keep living it to the fullest. You're just a beautiful, beautiful spirit. I love you so much, and you're amazing just the way you are. I hope you know that. Peace and blessings.